Morning world, 2nd September 2020, around 10 AM in the morning UK time. Brief one today. The subject of this video is the politics of astrology. This is not the astrology of politics. The astrology of politics is where I look at different political parties, different political leaders, and do my best to analyse them from an astrological perspective. This is the other way around. This is the politics of astrology. But before I start, I need to make my own position clear. It is impossible for me to be totally objective, detached and impersonal. I'm a human being. Even when I'm doing a client's reading, to those who come to me for more than 2 or 3 readings, they know how to use my user manual and they know how to get the best out of me once they've been with me a few times. But I cannot even be totally objective, although I do my very best to give them as impersonal an assessment as possible. But when it comes to astrology, I can't help but be biased because I am an astrologer. I've been an astrologer I've been studying astrology since 1976, 77, and I've been practicing it since 1981. So I've been doing it for 40 years, so it's ingrained. Also, I do not consider myself of the political right. I wouldn't describe myself as a left-winger or a bleeding heart socialist by a long way, and I've got no time for most of the socialist politicians and their philosophies. But I am a green. I'm an environmentalist. I care bits deeply about the planet because, yeah, coronavirus and politicians and children going back to school, great. But, you know, without a planet, so the planet comes first in my book. I always has done, always will do. Right. That set my political stance out. Now, the politics of astrology. Once you've studied astrology long enough, now that many of you will be on the way to studying astrology. You're not coming to me for sun sign forecasts or to listen to what I'm saying about, oh, it's a nice day for Aries today, or Aquarius, you're having a bad day with family. You know, that's drivel. There's plenty of other pretty things out there who will do that for you if you want that type of superfluous flânery. You're coming to me because I know what I'm talking about from an astrological perspective, and because I'm giving you the benefit of the best of my astrological knowledge and experience. Therefore, the majority of you are to a certain extent astrologically knowledgeable, or even, hopefully, astrological students. Once you have studied astrology long enough, you cannot help but develop an interest in words like sociology and psychology. It's inevitable. The more you study other people's horoscopes, the more you get an insight into what makes them behave the way they do, which is psychology in another name. So the more you study astrology, the more you become an amateur psychologist, and the more you study groups of charts or a large number of charts, the more you become a sociological student as well, the psychology of society. The more you study other people, the more you get an insight into what makes them behave the way they do, their behavioural patterns, and because of this you get an understanding of what it is that motivates them, what makes them feel the way they do, what makes them think the way they do, what makes them behave the way they do. Of course there are astrological patterns which denote this, but remember, the planets impel, they don't compel. The horoscope is a blueprint of potential. It is a map of what can be, not what will be. There is no imperative that says you must behave like your horoscope suggests. It's your choice. I am very much rooted in the camp of free will. Nevertheless, the more you study other people's psychology and sociology, the more you're going to realise that there are always going to be factors that determine behaviour, and much of these factors are based in emotion and feeling. And it is pretty much impossible, once you've done a lot of charts and dealt with people for a long time, to not identify with individuals and to understand why they feel the way they do. From this comes a capacity for empathy, not sympathy where you feel sorry for them, but empathy where you understand why they feel the way they do. And from empathy, it is but a short step to compassion. I would not describe myself as a compassionate person, although I do embrace compassion and I do try to bring it in and into my work. But if you're going to embrace empathy and compassion, then it's just a very short step from there to feeling the desire to help community in some shape or form. And by now we're treading into the domain of a more social way of life. Caring for people around us, caring for the clients you're working with, caring for your friends, your family and community. Therefore, I suggest that the majority of astrologers are those who are somewhat left of centre, because there are a number of astrologers out there who are right of centre, and these are the astrologers who don't do personal and intimate readings. They're the ones who deal with financial astrology, business astrology, political astrology. They're not involved in the side of astrology that deals with feeling, emotion, empathy, compassion. But if you're going to get involved in the side that evokes feeling, then you're going to find yourself inevitably being drawn to the left of the centre, not vastly to the left, but slightly to the left, where you genuinely care not only about your clients and your friends, but also the larger community and thus the planet. So I say that yes, the politics of astrology is that of the left, unless you're dealing with astrology in a non-personal way, where you're not dealing with individuals, where you're dealing instead with corporations, political parties, financial institutions, stocks and shares, that type of thing, which is just as valid a part of astrology, but it is much more impersonal and objective. Now, I'm sure this is going to raise the wrath of a number of right-wing libertarians who are going to say that I'm in the pay of George Soros or various other people who are of the left. But at the end of the day, I'm my own man. I have my own ideas, my own opinions. I don't kowtow or bend down to anyone. And neither should you. If you're studying astrology, the key thing of astrology is the key tenet of Buddhism: know thyself. Astrology teaches you to know yourself more and more. It then encourages you to help other people know themselves, and it creates wisdom, the domain of the wise. Study astrology long enough, you become a wise person. And there is the true politic of astrology, the desire and the potential for achievement of wisdom. Become wise, young grasshopper. Catch you later, world. Bye.